I paid 13 years for insurance that I wasn't able to use when I really needed it. Hey you guys, I'm Anika and welcome to my channel, Well with Anika. And today I wanted to talk to you about making sure you have the proper insurance in place when you need it for the time of life you need it in. As an entrepreneur, it's very important that we set ourselves up for the future, even though we can't foresee what could happen, and not just rely on what we're bringing in on a day-to-day basis as far as income and how we're living our lives. So back in 2009, 2010 maybe, no, it was 2009 because I was pregnant with my last child. I obtained some disability insurance. Initially, I had what was called AFLAC, and AFLAC was really popular back then. And what I realized at that time is that it didn't cover pregnancies or being off for being pregnant. That wasn't one of the disability coverages that was covered by AFLAC. And at that time, I was in my mid-30s, but I had a lot going on, had a larger salon, about 12 staff members working for me at that time, newly pregnant, and it was a disability insurance we signed up for collectively. AFLAC agent came in and said, hey, as a matter of fact, she was a client of the salon and said, hey, what about if you guys sign up collectively as a group? The agent assured us we would get this really good group deal and that basically I would be taking their payments through my booth rent and I would make the whole payment at once, which that turned out to be a disaster because of course everybody wasn't making their payments on time and it left me to make payments for other people hoping that they would pay me back. So I decided to squash that, got out of that, dismantled it all together and told everybody if they wanted disability insurance, that would be something they would need to look for, or any type of insurance was something that they needed to look for on their own. I sought out my life insurance agent and asked about disability insurance, and he assured me that the policy that I had was one of the best ones for me as a business owner because it was a return of premium policy. And when I heard that, I was like, wow. So when you pay insurance, a lot of times you feel like you are throwing money out the window because if you never use it, and of course, when you're that age, you think you're invincible. Nothing is ever going to happen to you. So when you never use it, it feels like money going out the window. But I was really excited about it. It's with Illinois Mutual because it was a return of premium. So that by the time I got 67 or 68 years old, that I would be able to get all the money that I put into it, get it back. And then I could also borrow against it over time if I really needed to make a purchase or do something. But otherwise, I would have it for disability insurance. I was thinking if I broke a leg, if I hurt myself, cut a finger, that I would be covered for that period of time. This is great. Let's do it. And especially, but he said, since I was pregnant at the time, that was considered a pre-existing condition. And that would be something that I would not be able to make a claim on at the time that my pregnancy was due. I understood that. I said, that's fine. No big deal. I get it. I am pregnant at this time. And if I would have got it prior to pregnancy, then maybe it's something that I could have utilized, right? Time goes on. I pay no attention to this policy. It is being automatically debited out of my account. I just know it's something that made me feel secure in the event that I needed to have or take off for any particular reason. 2 years ago, I had inquired about making a claim on the policy because I had thought about having a hysterectomy at that time. They sent me the paperwork to get started with the claim, but I decided to cancel the surgery, therefore never went forward with putting a claim in the insurance. I didn't inquire any more about how it works, how far in advance I needed to apply, or anything like that. Fast forward to this year, earlier this year in May, I had a hysterectomy. A couple of weeks prior to my surgery, well, really a month or two prior to the surgery, I called the insurance company and asked them what I needed to do to get started with the claim and that I would be off of work for a period of time. And I want to make sure I just had all of my paperwork in order. The agent told me over the phone that I needed to call 2 weeks prior to, and they would send me the claim paperwork, and everything that was in the claim paperwork I would need to submit to them, right? Well, the closer I got to surgery, things got more difficult. I became more busy because I was trying to tie up loose ends, making sure I was taking all the clients I could get in because I wanted to create more of a cushion for myself, pay the salon bills up ahead of time, and just not have to worry about getting back to work any sooner than I wanted to just because I needed to make money. I wanted to fully heal without having to worry about what was going on with my business. It was the week of surgery. I had surgery on a Friday, and I think I called that Monday like, hey, I know I was supposed to call at least 2 weeks prior. I'm having surgery Friday. I want to go ahead and get started on the paperwork. I got the paperwork on Tuesday, and it was literally a packet. This packet of paperwork was asking me for everything to solidify my business over the last 2 years, from taxes to individual bill statements, to 2 years worth of income tax, the full income tax, which included my husband and mine, not just my Schedule C for the business. Anything about any other businesses I had, if I was getting any type of disability or payment from anywhere else, it wanted all of this information. And so when Wednesday rolled around, which was my last day of work, I said, you know what, I can't deal with this right now. I am going to have to table this until after I feel well enough after the surgery to start pulling this paperwork together. Because at this point, I want to make sure that my living quarters are in order, that my family has food to eat, that my child, he was getting ready to go to DC at that time. I didn't have time to be fooling with printing off or scanning in my taxes to the claims adjuster. And so the claims adjuster I was assigned to was a very nice lady. I think her name was Monica or something like that. And I just gave her a heads up that I would respond after my surgery when I felt well enough. I had surgery on a Friday. And I would say after the following Friday, I said, let me just go and look at the packet again and see how much I actually have to submit, what all I need to do, because I had, been resting for about a week, and I don't want to get into a position where I know I'm gonna be off for 6 weeks, but I don't want there to be too much lag in money coming in, because at this point I am a single entrepreneur within my salon. It's only me. I don't have booth rent income coming in anymore, or any other streams of income at this point that doesn't take me, myself, my body to create, right? So I wanted to make sure there wasn't a big gap in my income. I figured, let me go ahead and get the ball rolling with getting her some of the paperwork. And so I started to fill out or compile the paperwork that she needed, as far as like downloading bank statements, downloading to her portal so it can go to her, because of course I have all of this stuff from my accountant, but this is May and I filed taxes in January. So I had to go kind of not really hunt it down. It was in my computer, and some of the stuff was hard copies. Some stuff I had to download from various utility companies, taxes for the building, just different things. And so I started to compile that and send those over to her. And I had some other questions about the questionnaire she sent me in terms of other disability insurances that I had. Because I told her, I said, well, I have healthcare insurance, but I don't have any other disability insurance but you guys. She goes through the whole rigmarole and says, I will be back in touch with you shortly. 2-3 weeks go by. And she calls me, she sends an email, and she says, well, hey, when is a good time for us to connect? I would like to talk with you. We always do a little interview before we actually put the claim through. I have all of your paperwork together. And I said, okay, sure. I give her a call, because at this point, I'm still on break, not ready to go back to work yet. I'm still on leave. I think I had about 3 more weeks to go, and about 2 more weeks to go at that point. And she says, I'm looking through your paperwork. How long are you going to be off? And I said, well, my doctor sent in that I wouldn't go back until 6 weeks after, which was sometime in July, I think, or end of June or July. And that's what he sent on my paperwork. And she says, well, if we do that and you're not going to be off any longer, you would technically only be paid for 2 weeks of your sick leave. And I asked, why was that? She said, well, there's a 30-day hold once you file a claim. Now, that wasn't pointed out to me at the time that I signed up for insurance. I caught myself looking through and reading through my policy prior to actually putting in a claim or even agreeing to having the surgery, because I thought, let me make sure this is something I'm ready to do, right? And so I did see that there was a 30-day hold, but in my mind, the 30-day hold applied to me not making a claim 30 days after establishing the policy. Because a lot of times when you get health insurance policies or death benefit policies or disability policies, they want you to wait before you actually file a claim for a certain period of time. So I misinterpreted that clause in my paperwork. She said, what you have is really a long-term insurance, so it would really be more beneficial if you were off around 3 months or so. And she said, and then we can pay you out per your bills, not what you make, but per the bills that you have for your business. The type of business insurance or disability insurance I have is the kind that is utilized to cover your business overhead. So you don't lose your business. So you don't lose your business while you're out for sick leave. It would keep your overhead open and keep your business open so you would have something to go back to. It's not necessarily a disability insurance that covers the person. And I was shocked. I was shocked that I didn't really go into it having that understanding. Now, I can't say honestly that he didn't explain that to me. He could have. I don't even remember what was going on in that time in my life. I just knew at the time that he was explaining the benefit, what stood out to me was it was a return of premium, and that if I ever got sick, it would pay me disability insurance. Not really that it would pay my bills. And so at that time, my overhead was like 3 times what I have now, because I was in a 2,000 square foot building. My rent was about $1,800 a month, plus all the utilities of it being run 6-7 days a week. I had a cleaning lady. I had to take care of I had other multiple streams of income. I was doing more retail. I had a hair company. I had a boutique. I had a lot going on within that space. And the overhead coverage would have been nice had something happened to me back then, because it would have been around between $4,000 and $5,000 a month that I would have had coming in to take care of the overhead. Where I am now, that's not the case. Like I said, I'm downsized to just one person. And what they are going to pay me out is based off of my bills, and my overhead is not that. Like I said, it's 3 times less than what that is. What that was back when I first established the policy. I said all of that to say I was off 6 weeks and did not get paid 1 dime from the disability insurance. And I told her to go ahead and cancel the claim because I didn't want the ding on that insurance. And she said, well, basically what they would pay me for those 2 weeks would be enough to cover my premium for a couple of months. And I told her, no, that wouldn't be worth it to me, and that I would just continue on the journey that I'm on. And she says, moving forward, you may want to talk with someone about having something called short-term disability. Short-term disability only has about a 5 to 7 day holding period, and then will kick in more towards what you need to make as far as income, and not necessarily what your overhead bills are to keep your business running. And I said, oh, I'll have to look into that. She said, look into that. She said, I think that'll be a better fit for what you may encounter in the future. She said, but of course, if you ever have anything where you're off for 3 months or more, this insurance would be great to kick in addition to something short term. I'm not an insurance agent. I cannot advise you. I'm not a lawyer or a financial guru. But if you hear anything else, hear this. If you are a solo entrepreneur where you actually utilize your body, you use your body to make money, you need to actually have disability insurance that covers you short term. Say, for instance, you break a finger, a leg, a toe, anything like that, that has a 6-week recovery time or less. And in addition to that, you need to have long-term insurance as well. And then if you're upwards in the 50s like I am, you need to start preparing for long-term care insurance, which will take care of you in the event you ever have to go to a nursing home, as well as life insurance and business insurance so no one sues you. And also incorporate your business by having an LLC or some other type of corporation in place so you can have some sort of protection in addition to all of your insurances. So I know I said a mouthful. If you don't already have one, get you a lawyer, get an accountant, and get you a good business insurance agent. They will be able to help you with all of those things. But I wanted to just come in here and just put a little bug in your ear about what I know now so you can do better later. That's it for now. You all be well. Take care.